we just got done with the press conference downstairs. Can you tell me a little bit about that for all the people that weren't here and are out in different areas of New Mexico and what we talked about or what you talked about?
And so the press conference today was about our work towards developing what's titled as a tribal education trust fund. So it's a trust fund beginning with $50 million as an initial investment by the state of New Mexico to help create capacity in our own individual communities so that they can help create educational opportunities within their own selves. And so our push now is super proactive in regards to, well, let's take back our place within our own communities, within our own states, within this own nation, and that begins with education, right? And so this education trust fund provides then an opportunity for our own tribal education departments within our own communities to then begin to facilitate programming, just investments that are targeted towards like language programs, man, like language for our own indigenous languages, cultural programs, traditional programs. There's anything in regards to, you can't go to a public school, whether it's Powake Valley or Bernalillo and
Gallup.
or Gallup. Shout out to Gallup.
Shout out, yeah.
You can't go to those schools, public schools, not bashing them, but we don't go to those schools to learn our language or to learn how to continue our native customs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those people, those experts are within our own communities. We know that, people should know that, and so we're going to take that back in regards to, this is how, as Native people, we know how to learn. You, those people that have made decisions about us, not necessarily always for our benefit, will begin to understand that we make our own decisions and we are the authors of our own destiny. And so with that being said, this is why these initiatives and the number of education bills that I carry are super important to me. And they're ones, though, that are not written by me, man. That's the beauty of it, is that all these education bills, they're not done by me or anybody that is in this building. The beauty of it is that the framework of what we call the tribal education remedy framework
Mm-hmm.
is essentially a booklet, a novel, if you will, of the sentiments, the wishes, the dreams, the structures, the everything that our communities talked about. So back in 2018, we had a convening of all the pueblos in the state of New Mexico, the Navajo Nation, the two Apache nations in the state, and we convened at Santa Ana Pueblo. Everybody took these notes and said, these are our wishes, these are our dreams for education in New Mexico for our kids, right?
Okay.
And they took them, and obviously they're just like, I want better opportunities for my kid that goes here, or I like sports programs, or I like da da da. And so it was a beautiful convening over like 2 days, and at the end of that facilitation, they passed this basket. It was a beautiful uh, kind of moment that I'll always remember, because it still kind of chokes me up that at that moment we were in this large auditorium space and they took these papers, and at that point in time the facilitator said, can you take this basket, and everybody put their breathe on these papers. And that sentiment in itself, where I come from, means that you just put life into these documents.
Mm-hmm.
And so what that meant for me is that I watched this as the basket went around the whole room, and then they came back to the facilitator, and then he gave it to me and said, now you have your, now you know the wishes of the people. And like I said, it still gets me, because that was such a powerful moment to say, okay, I appreciate the sentiment, but now I have work to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in doing work, we got straight to work and took those wishes and created them into legislation. Legislation created into further movement in regard to how we're going to affect positive change for Indian education.
Mm-hmm.
And so at this point in time, we've come from 2018 to 2023. And man, I can tell you that trying to navigate the political system, trying to have people appreciate what Native American education means to Native American New Mexico has been a challenge. It's been a re-education of core values, of just how we live in certain parts of the state that are unlike maybe downtown Santa Fe or Albuquerque or the larger metropolitan areas.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty of it all, man, is that it provides us now a framework where people see us. We're no longer invisible. You know, while we may not be on mainstream television and you don't turn on the tube and you're like, oh, hey, I can relate to that guy or that girl, or I want to be like that. You know, natives are different. We understand that. But if you don't see yourself represented in television, in print media, on the internet, politics, man, you just feel invisible, right?
Exactly.
And so this is the power of being able to do this stuff. And so in my experience and in my lifetime, I have to say that education has been the great equalizer.
So you were talking about your education, and so how was your education? How were you like? What was your education like?
Sure. Well, I grew up just like any one of the Pueblo kids in my community. Is that I went to public school for my entire career, right? I went to Berlin Public School. Shout out to Berlin Public School, one of the best school districts in the state of New Mexico. From elementary, middle school, high school, and my experience there was I made a lot of great friends. I mean, all the tribes around that area, I got to meet them, and we're still friends to this day. The folks that are in the town of Bernalillo, the non-native folks there, great friends, family there as well. So it was beautiful in terms of friendship and the social network that I was able to build there. Um, I would never say that they didn't prepare me for college or career, because obviously as an individual, as a young adult, I didn't take the initiative, and I'm straight up that to say that I didn't take the initiative to really try to excel in anything. So what I did out of high school is that I fumbled around, and I found my way to a technical college. Then I went to the University of New Mexico, and then out of all that, man, it's just like just chance experiences, chance encounters of people saying, "Well, you should do this, or give yourself a shot to do this." Helping me think outside the box. That as a young Native kid, back when I was a young man, now I'm not an old man. As a young kid, opened my eyes, my mind, that in fact there's probably a spot for me somewhere else besides kind of the straight and narrow and what's expected of me by those that in my family felt that once you're done with high school, get a job, get a family, you're done. Congratulations, that's cool, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But like I said, I went to technical college, university, and then found my way to law school, which is a trip, because I people still to this day is like, dang, you went to law school, thinking like that. I'm like, I did. It was just weird, and it was such a fast track that doing all those things, I was done with law school when I was like 24.
Oh wow.
I'd done all that, man, and I'll never be that motivated or smart again in my life. I know that, but the point I'm trying to say is that I learned the hard way, and I had to struggle because I knew that I set myself up, and that if I was to fail, it'd be a failure to my community and to my family, and I couldn't accept that. And so my hope now is that in bringing back these types of programs back to our communities, our ability now to infiltrate this type of society in terms of the legislature and politics, is that people that are in my shoes now, maybe they don't have to, maybe there's a better path, and a more streamlined path that they can follow, because they have the capacity in their tribal education department to say, okay, as a facilitator, that somebody that works in your respective Pueblo nation or tribe, to say, okay, Derrick, I'm going to take you from high school, and I will show you how to get into college, and and I'll help you, and we'll shepherd you, and if you're struggling, we'll get you the help. And that's beautiful, right? And also a part of that is, while you're doing that, and if you have opportunities, come to our programs that help teach the language, again, or do something like that. So it's really providing opportunities that never existed before. And so in some cases, we have tribes that have great capacity, that have departments of education that are staffed by multiple people, right? But in some places, we have tribes, nations, or pueblos that may have an education department of one part-time person that works out of the broom closet, and they don't have that capacity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure that everybody has a fair shot to help their students to create that fair shot for them, so that they can in turn continue that kind of perpetual, I'm going to give you a shot because I got a shot, and we can continue. It's beautiful, man. If we can make it work out, that's the intent, that's the focus, that's the goal. Now, because of the finances in the state, I mean, we're sitting on I'm not going to lie, a wealth of dollars that we can make truly targeted investments for the future of our state. And let's not lie to each other, is that Native people are a part of the state, and we have to make sure that our kids, ourselves, being a part of not only just tribal nation citizenship. We're also citizens of the state of New Mexico and citizens of the United States of America. So we have three roles to fill, right? And so as Native people, we have an obligation to ourselves, not only just to become career and college ready when we grow up and go to whatever we like to do as adults, we also have an obligation to those that our ancestors, right? Those that have already gone, to continue our culture tradition and make sure that we're culturally ready so that we understand and can carry on those that left us that blessing, right? And so it's a beautiful marriage if you can get it right. And so my intent now is to make sure that we can get it right.
Yeah. Okay, so with all these bills right now, where do they stand? Are they past the committees? Are they even introduced? What? Yeah, they're introduced, but where are they at now? And
So they've all been introduced, and at this point in time, as a matter of fact, this morning we passed one out of the House Education Committee. The trust fund that I'm talking about, it passed the House Education Committee last Friday, and so at this point in time, they're all sitting in the queue in House Appropriations, where we're going to begin to talk about monies being in the budget to help accomplish these tasks.
House Bill 140. I need everybody to go look at that. I need you to research it, spread it far and wide. Thank you again, Representative Lente. Derrick, we'll see you around. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks, bro.
Thank you. What bills are they? Senate bill?
They're House bills.
They're House bills.
I have a number of House
with the Senate bills that you're passing right now.
House bills. Come on, it's a House bill, dude.
I know you're right. I know he's Representative Lente, and I keep saying Senate bills.
Call me Derrick.
Derrick.
Everyone calls me Derrick.
Bill 5 times. What's the name of the bill?
Okay, so we're gonna get the House bill again, and I'm gonna repeat it 5 times. I'm gonna spell it out so I don't forget it. House Bill
140.
House Bill 140. House Bill 140. House Bill
14-0.
14-0. There you go.